Hi everyone. Good morning. It's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, coming to you this morning. Let's see, it's Wednesday, beautiful day here in my hometown, Peabody, Massachusetts, and hoping I can get some people to join me so that we can talk about Infusible Ink some more. Yesterday we did a wonderful demonstration that was very well received of Infusible Ink on aluminum sheets, and that was just really popular for my videos. So I wanted to show you, good morning Cindy, I wanted to show you how the Joy does Infusible Ink, and then also to show you the process again, but on a t-shirt. And I had cut out yesterday, I had cut out this one, but didn't have time, this Be Kind one, but I didn't have time to press it on the shirt. And then I also, my son, who is getting bigger by the day, oh my gosh, he's in that teenage growth spurt, 14, and he needs some shirts, and so I was looking for some designs, and I thought, oh, this one's perfect for him. Good morning, Penny and Amy. Good morning, Roxanne and Denise, Cheryl, Sydney, and Cindy. I don't know if I already said hi, Cindy, but I can say it again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me. So we're continuing on with Infusible Ink today, and I wanted to show you because there's some confusion about the Joy and Infusible Ink. So I wanted to sort of clear up that confusion and also to show you again how this process works. It's really simple, nothing to be afraid of really, and it's a lot like if you've ever done iron-on before. It's a lot like iron-on. It's just a different material that you're using with different settings, okay? So Infusible Ink can be done on any machine. So let's start off by saying that. Hi, Constance. And Pat, hello. So I'm going to be doing, Sydney's asking, am I do Infusible Ink sheets? Yes, I'm going to do it on the Joy today. And I wanted to show you, I have this great design for my son for a t-shirt, me, Sarcastic, ... never. And I cut it out on the Joy. And the good thing about the Joy, now remember, the Joy has its limits because the size, it can only, one of the sizes can only be, it cannot exceed 4.25 inches. So something like this would not be able to be cut on the Joy, but something like this would be. And so I wanted to show you how to do it on the Joy so that you can understand that it's both, all machines really can use the Infusible Ink transfer sheets. Now, I wanted to point out, I'm just cleaning up this one I already cut, but a lot of times people think if it's for the Joy, then I have to get it because I can't use Infusible Ink or any product, whatever, on like that was made for other machines on the Joy. I must buy the Joy items, which you can buy the Joy, and it, you know, they're branded Cricut Joy. But this Infusible Ink package for Cricut Joy, it contains 2 sheets of 4.5 inches by 12 inches. So here you can see this is what you'd get. You know, this is pre-cut to 12 inches. But if you're someone who likes to save a little money, and who doesn't, for me, that's sort of my my way of life, right, is that I've found that you can take the Infusible Ink, the larger sizes, and you can actually cut them you can cut them to fit on the Joy, which is exactly what I did here. I took a full sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet of Infusible Ink transfer sheets, right? And then I put that in my, let me show you. I put it in my trimmer. So here's my trimmer. Oh, you could do this by hand, or you can do it, you know, it's a little neater by hand. I mean, by using the trimmer, but you could certainly do it by hand. So you just take out one of the transfer sheets that you're going to use, and you're going to put it in your trimmer and trim it at about 4 inches. And if you do it at 4 inches, you could do it at 4 1/4 inches, but at 4 inches, you'd get 3 sheets of the same, about the same as this, from 1 sheet of Infusible Ink. Isn't that pretty cool? So you're able to take the full sheet and turn it into 3 sheets of Infusible Ink transfer paper. So it's definitely a better buy to buy them in the bigger and just to hand trim them, but you can do either, okay? And then when you are ready to cut it on your Joy, now I'm going to show you how to cut it using my iPad, because it's right here and I wanted to show you. And some people do use their iPads and they or their phones to cut on their Joy, or any of the other machines actually. And it requires an app, and the app's available in the Apple Store and also in the Android store. It's called Cricut Design Space for iPad or something like that. So just go and look in the App Store and download it, and you can work as if you're working on your desktop version, but in the iPad. So when I'm ready to when I'm ready to cut this for the Joy, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit this button down here. It says Make It, okay? Now, my iPad is hooked to the Joy. Okay, so that's just a thing that I would do. Let me get out of here for a second. So here is where I would make my selection for machine. So I have more than one machine, and I need to tell the app, especially when I'm going to design or cut, I need to tell the app that I'm going to use the Cricut Joy, okay? And then when I go to make it, I'm going to get the choice of, do I want to put it on without the mat, or do I want to use the mat? And in this case, because it's not a smart material, remember, smart materials are only those that are labeled as such. They're called Smart Iron-On or Smart Label, that kind of thing. So we're going to do it on the mat. And let me just make sure it timed out. Okay, so here we go. So here is my mat, and this is great because I have this great cutout, and it's longer than it is wide, right? So it turns it on its side automatically. But one thing that it doesn't do is it doesn't mirror. It does not mirror for your cutting with Infusible Ink. All the time when you're doing Infusible Ink, but especially when you have words, you need to mirror it. And that's because when you cut it out, you're cutting it out with this side up, but then you turn it over to put it on the shirt, okay? So, or whatever the substrate is. So we need to make sure that this is mirrored, and we do that by hitting this little mat symbol that says 1. Okay, and here is where we can mirror. It says for iron-on, or Infusible Ink. So we're going to just hit that lever, turn it green, and then you come back here and you notice that your cutout, it's really not legible because it is mirrored, but that's what we want. And then we would hit continue. Now we have to choose the material that we're using. And you'll come up with, you'll have favorites, you'll have popular, but you can also go to all materials. And here in the iron-on section, you'll find Infusible Ink transfer sheet, so that's the one that we want. And the machine recognizes that, makes sure that the mirror is turned on. So I'm going to move the camera just for a brief moment to show you how this cuts in the Joy. Well, maybe I don't have to move the camera, I can just move the Joy. Let's see, that works. Okay. All right, so I've got my Infusible Ink on the mat, and remember, it's this shiny side, that's the backing, okay? It's not glitter. It looks like, let me find the original box. This is one of the new ones. Let's see what it's called. It's called Patterns Terrazo. So to me, it looks like it's like black with silver, or it's not really silver, but gray. I have not yet seen any glitter coming from Infusible Ink or foil or anything. I'm not sure if it's doable, but I'm sure if it is, they'll figure out a way to do it. So this is Patterns Terrazo, this one here, and this is a 2-sheet box. Okay, so hi Susan, hi everyone. So we're going to put it in our machine. You see that the light is blinking, and you'll notice on the iPad it's checking out to make sure my mat is aligned and that I have the right mat in there. And now all I have to do is hit go. So I'm going to hit go, and it will start to cut. And again, it's mirrored. It will start to cut our cutout. Now, at this point, once it's cut out, it's really the same process as if you were to cut it on your maker. So I just want to continue on with that. You do, when you take it off the mat, it will have all of the cutouts here. And what you have to do is sort of roll the paper. This is paper, really. It's different than if you're doing iron-on, which you usually need a tool to do. But this one here, which I cut out earlier today, is the Infusible Ink. Now, sometimes you'll get these little bits of paper here, and we need to make sure we remove them. That's just part of the backing, and sometimes it doesn't cut all the way through. So we're just going to, I have to move this out of the way a little bit. Okay. So we're just going to, if you have that problem, you just need to either use your finger, you can use a pick if you want to, a weeding tool or something like that. And we're just going to make sure all of those pieces that we don't want are off. Now, you'll notice sometimes that the design will lift from the back of the transfer. That's okay. It's okay to do that, for it to be that way, because we're going to press it on this side, and that should work out just fine. So let's just make sure, nope, I still got an E here that needs to be turned over. Okay, so here we are. This is the design that we cut out, and I know it doesn't look like the cutout that we chose, but that's okay. It does look, it's going to look like the design that we chose in the end once we do the heating part. Now and I'm going to just kind of move some stuff out of the way. I've got a lot of stuff here. To adhere Infusible Ink onto a surface, the surface has to be compatible. Now, Cricut makes and sells their own what they call blanks, and this is one of them. This is a t-shirt, the V-neck and the gray, which is really pretty. They have white and they have gray. But if you don't want to use, or maybe you want to use a different kind of shirt, you can purchase ones that are very high in polyester count. So this is, I think, at least 70% polyester. I don't really know. I want to look, see if the tag says anything. No, it doesn't say anything. But it's very high, and Infusible ink works best with a high polyester count. So here is our Be Kind from yesterday, and I want to show you how to do this, and then we'll also do the sarcastic one. So in this case, what I have done is I have sort of just kind of set it up. Here's my V-neck, so I want my B to be sort of centered there, but underneath the shirt, and you don't have to wash the shirt, okay? In this case, and so does the Joy cut faster than the Air too? I think it's a toss-up, Teresa. I think the Joy cuts faster than the Maker, but I think the Air 2 is probably about the same. So Constance's asking about the font. This is a pre-designed design, and the same with the sarcastic one. It's pre-designed, so I don't have to choose a font. So that choosing fonts is an entirely different topic, and we can talk about that. Of course we can talk about that, but in this case it's pre-designed, so all I have to do is bring it into Design Space and size it to the size that I want. Okay, so in this case, what I have done with my shirt is that I have got my mat. This is my padded mat. This is by Cricut. I've got some paper there, and then I've got my shirt. And what I need to do is I need to check the heat guide to make sure that I have this all ready to go. So let's go to the heat guide. The heat guide can be found on the Cricut website, and here is what it looks like. It's called Cricut Heat Guide. In this case, you have choices of either the Mini, the EasyPress 2, or the original EasyPress. Well, I have all of those. But today I'm going to use my EasyPress 2. And just to kind of clarify, the EasyPress Mini will work on Infusible Ink, and I've done it before with Infusible Ink. However, it won't work on the coasters, but it will work on the shirts and the bodysuits and everything, just not on the coasters. The coasters need a super, super high temperature, and it's just really hard to maintain that consistent heat, and also because of the Mini has a small plate, you can't do the coasters with the Mini. So I could do this with the Mini, but I don't want to. I want to show the EasyPress 2, and I want to find out how long I need to and what temperature I need to put this at. So I choose my EasyPress 2, and then the second choice is I have to choose what material. So in this case, Infusible Ink transfer sheet, that's what this is, and the base material is a t-shirt. And then I hit apply, and it tells me that I have to preheat for 15 seconds. Don't ignore that preheat. It's really important. And then I'm going to do it for 385 degrees, which I've heated up my press for 40 seconds at a light pressure, okay? And we have to put it together like this. See, there's my mat, there's my t-shirt, my design, with the correct facing up look, and then butcher paper, and then my EasyPress. So we first have to preheat this for 15 seconds, and we also need butcher paper. So let me grab some butcher paper. Butcher paper comes inside of the box of Infusible Ink transfer sheets. There's usually quite a bit of it, so you want to kind of conserve it because sometimes it cannot be reused, okay? So I store my transfer sheets and my butcher paper in the boxes as long as I keep it out of the humidity or away from any liquid. It should be fine stored in the box. Whoops. Okay. So we have to do the preheat for 15 seconds. So I'm going to remove my design ever so carefully because there is a little bit of stick on the transfer. It's not as sticky as the iron-on contact sheet, but it is still a little sticky, so we're going to have to remove that, and let's preheat the area for 15 seconds using the EasyPress, which I have right here, and you see I have it at 385 for 40 seconds, but we're just going to do 15, so I could hit this and wait for it to count down to 25, which is fine. And I'm not moving it. I'm not putting pressure on. I just resting my hands on there just to kind of preheat the area. So there's 25. And we're going to remove that butcher paper. And here we go. Here's our design. Let's line up the bee kind right where we want it. I think this. Okay. Ooh, the t-shirt's hot. Okay, then I'm going to replace the butcher paper. I'm going to get my EasyPress again and hit the button so that it's 40 seconds. Again, not moving it and not having to press down. And people do ask me about Infusible Ink and a regular iron. I have not tried it. I don't know if it would work. A regular iron has to get, for this case, 385 degrees is a very hot temperature. So if you know that you have an iron that can get that hot, and through the, and I think there are some like Rowenters that might work that way, but I don't have one like that, so I always use my EasyPress. Okay, so the 40 seconds is up. I'm going to take it off of the design. It's very, very hot. Oop, I got my fan on, so the butcher paper kind of sort of lifted. But here is the design, but I have to remove it. It's still super, super hot. Okay, so we're going to peel it away, and you'll notice that there's, like, this is the design, and actually the color has sort of leached off and into the shirt, which that is so cool. It's like a marbled look. And that is the bee kind. It's still super hot. But the great thing about this is that it is ready to wear. You don't need to wash it or condition it or do anything with it. Let me show you. Take this out. Let me show you how this looks. So, you know what, Constance, is a good question, is asking about the butcher paper. No, there is no particular side. One side is a little bit shiny, I know, but I've done it with both sides. The butcher paper is there particularly for if any of the colors leach up and then they get transferred, okay? So here's the design. Now, this is it might look a little mottled, but actually this was the transfer sheet that I chose, which is marbled. And so that's where you get that little, like that look. But it is on the shirt. When I do this, nothing is going to crack. Nothing is going to peel. This is permanently on the shirt. Okay? See that? and it's ready to wear. Wash after wash, nothing will come off, nothing will peel or crack. You can iron it and do all that other stuff with it, and you have a perfect shirt that looks professionally and is professionally made because you made it with your choice of the design and of the color of the transfer or whatever pattern or whatever. So this is that Be Kind. Let me show you how it works on a white t-shirt. So here's a white t-shirt. Yeah, the gray is really interesting, I think. So here's my son's white t-shirt. Again, this is a Cricut Infusible Ink blank, extra large, because boy, he just keeps growing. And here is our Sarcastic Never, okay, that we're going to put, I think about here would be good for him. And you want to center by the neck, I think. That's the way that I would do it. So I'd probably put the me right in the middle here. And it's the same process. We have to preheat the surface for 15 seconds, remember? Because it's the same thing. We did a Infusible Ink transfer sheet. We're doing a t-shirt, and we're using the EasyPress 2, and we're going to preheat for 15 seconds, and then we're going to do 385 for 40 seconds. One thing, though, is that this may be slightly bigger than the surface of my press, so I might need to move my ever so gently. I might need to move my EasyPress. So first, let's heat it up. I want to put the paper in here. Put it this way. Put my paper here underneath there. That's just to protect the surface so nothing leaches through the back and causes any problems with my mat or anything. Again, I'm just gonna bring my EasyPress over, and yes, I could use my mini for this. Remember, I'm just doing 15 seconds to preheat. No pressing, even though it's called EasyPress. There's no pressing and no movement is needed there. Okay, we're almost at 25 seconds. Yep. So it's hot, be careful. Okay, so Jude is telling me that the second E in never, oh, it is Jude. See, there's just a little tiny piece. But yeah, good eye, good eye. Okay, so then we're going to recenter this. Again, I'm going to put that me in the middle. Make sure that it's straight. It's still a little hot there. And then we put our butcher paper. And I think that our entire design is going to be under the machine, but I am going to move it ever so slightly because there is one little piece on the left-hand side. But when I move it, I'm going to pick it up and move it instead of trying like an iron, like you'd move it like an iron, okay? And I'm not pressing, I'm just resting my hands on here, not moving it like an iron, but I am going to lift it because I can see on either side of the design there's a little tiny bit poking out. So I want to make sure that that gets transferred, okay? So lift a little bit and put it down. I'm going to have to do a few more seconds with that. And then over here, yeah, so I have to lift and put it over here on this side as well. Yeah. You know, I've gotten this question on. I gotta check because the question is butcher paper like parchment paper? And it has a feel like parchment paper, but it is definitely not wax paper. Wax paper has a coating. It's waxed. Obviously, it's called wax paper. And so you need to not use wax paper, but could it be parchment paper? It does feel a lot like parchment paper, but I'm not terribly sure. So I have to check on that. I get that question a lot. So here's the butcher paper. Take it off. Very hot still. And look at how I can see actually sort of around there that it did get on there, but I want to be careful of my fingers and start to lift. And there is my design. Isn't that great? And here in this case, you know, I do get a little bit of ghosting here. So I'm wondering if maybe instead in the future, I might make my design slightly less wide so that the entire thing, or to use my EasyPress that's larger, or in this case, I could also use my mini so that but it's kind of not terribly noticeable. I don't think people would really blame me. And again, it's still a little hot, but let me show you this design. So here it is. Look at up close. It's got those little dots in there, but let me just show you by pulling on it. It is in and on that shirt. You can see. It's not coming off. It's not going to crack. This is wearable right this second, and it is going to last him. He will grow out of this before anything happens to this design, which I think is terrific. So that is how you do the infusible. Let's show you this one, and then back our B1. This is on the white, this is on the gray, and currently those are the only two colors available on the t-shirts, but there are a very good selection of sizes up to I think 3X. And then there are baby bodysuits, different sizes, and there's a youth t-shirt, I believe, and V-neck or crew neck. So that is how I think he's going to like it. He does, you know, he's a teenager, but he does he does show some enthusiasm, but right now he's not a super enthusiastic kid, but that's just being a teenager. So that is how you do Infusible Ink. And we did 2 shirts in less than a half an hour, and that was with me talking and greeting people and everything else. So for half an hour's worth of work and a few special products or special materials, we got some really fantastic shirts out of this. This one is going to go to my friend who runs the community farm, the Newhall Community Farm. I think she's going to really love it because she really loves bees. And then we have our Me Sarcastic Never t-shirt for my son to wear as he grows out of all of his clothes. Okay, so thank you so much for coming today. Let's see, tomorrow I think we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about the Joy insert cards, because there's so many questions about Joy insert cards I keep getting. And yesterday I went back and forth with somebody I've known for a while named Eva, and we were talking about how to find those cards and how to cut them and how to put sentiment in them. So we're going to go over all of that because there's just a lot of questions about that. So if you are around tomorrow, tune in. I do have to have my treatments tomorrow, so it will be later on. It won't be at 9 o'clock, okay? But we'll finish off the week with that, with insert cards, and then maybe a paper project for Friday. So thank you so much for coming today. Tell your friends. We're getting a lot of people logging in, and that's wonderful. And I do so appreciate it because I know it's because you guys share. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. This is Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and you make it a wonderful day, okay? Bye, guys.